All right. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Angela Hines. I am proud to say I am an IATAN card holder from Booking Group Travel. So I want to dive into that with you all today and talk about finding groups. I want to let you all know this is a 5-part series. We got 5 Fridays in May. And so I wanted to make sure that we kind of go over so many things in groups, right? But we can't do them all in 1 hour. So we're going to break it up into 5. We'll do finding groups this week. Next week, we'll do managing groups, cruises. The following week will be hotel room blocks and then branded groups. That just kind of means what's your client's brand and how can we tailor it around them? And then the last week, we'll do a recap, questions and answer. I'll probably learn a lot from you guys as well. So that'll just be a collaboration session. So hopefully we can have fun with this in the month of May. All right. So the next slide, just tell you a little bit about me. So I am a wife of a very supportive husband. I'm so grateful for him. My husband's name's Aubin. And I'm a mother of 3 adult children and a Mimi, that's my grandma name, to 2 grandchildren. So yeah, that's the Hines family. We've got, we're there. That picture is of us in the pool in beaches in last October. So I think we need to mute. If you can press your mute button if you're not already on mute. Maybe I can do it. All right. So we could, I just want to let you know that that's my family there. And then I worked as an executive assistant for a top telecom company for about 15 years. And that really helped mold me for what I'm doing now, right? So as an executive assistant, I don't know if you work with any, but we are problem solvers. We got to figure things out. Our executives don't want to hear, I don't know, I can't find it, I'm not sure. You have to really figure things out. You got to collaborate with a lot of people, directors, sales staff, whatever you're doing, you have to problem solve. So that's really helped me to do what I'm doing today. Not only, oh great, Mona, you're E-Day too. Not only problem solving, but it's also helped me to do my conferences, my meetings, my retreats. I did all of that as an executive assistant, right? So that really, I had to do hotel contracts when I was an executive assistant, but guess what? I didn't get paid to do it. And now I do, right? And so I used all those skills, that 15 years of experience, and using it in my travel business today. I've been in the travel business for about 1.5 years. And like I said, I've been really honing in on groups exclusively because that's kind of what I know. I'm staying in my lane with corporate, and I'm using my skills to do what I'm doing today. So my hobbies, I love adventure, do kayaking and boating and scuba diving. My husband and I are both certified scuba divers, and we love it. And with that skill of scuba diving, we're able to do that wherever we travel. So travel is definitely another one of our hobbies. That's just a little bit about me. And then, so there's so much in group travel, right? So I thought about, how do I want to break this down? So I thought, why don't we talk about where to find groups and how to engage them, right? So where do we find the people? Where do we find people who want to do groups? And then how do we engage that? So those are the 2 things we're going to talk about. If we talk too broad about so many things, you probably get lost in the weeds. And I also want to tell you here that I believe in storytelling, right? So if we tell a story, we will retain more information. So I might not know everything about finding groups in group travel. We can all learn from one another, but I'm going to share my story with you. And then that way, hopefully you can retain my story. And in that, you can create your own story, right? So I'm going to do a little bit. And then, so here we are, finding groups. I've got a couple of logos flashing up there for you, but I want to really invite you all, especially if you haven't done groups already, to be your first group client. Think about that. Have you booked your own cruise yet? Have you reached out to your community, whether it be your friends, your family, whether it be your church members, whether it be your pickleball club? Have you reached out to them and say, let's do a group trip? Be your first client. Those people will have so much more grace with you. They will be able to go, oh, no worries. You didn't, we can find another hotel if you're looking at two options, right? They're going to have a lot more grace with you as you wiggle your way through it, right? That's kind of what I did. Yes, the Elks Lodge, right? What about it? Why not? Have them go on a group cruise. Cruises, I'm an advocate for cruises. And the reason why is because once you get on that ship, everybody is taken care of. Now, if you're adverse to cruising, then do a land trip, but do something local, right? Do something in your area. Church groups. I think church groups are great because you can be of service. As I told you, I'm an executive assistant, so I'm always thinking a way of how I can be of service. Sometimes we can think in our head, like, how can I get the client? Instead, I would invite you to shift your mindset on how can I be of service, right? If you can be of service to your church group, to your community service, to your networking partners, then it will be reciprocated. You will get business because you're relational. So I invite you to think and twist your mindset to how can I be of service, right? So in networking groups, I love this. I'll dive a little deeper into Alignable and Nextdoor and how I have been able to leverage that within my networking. And then in LinkedIn, I want to help you think of it differently in the fact that executive assistants, right? That's what I'm honing in on for because I understand their language. I understand what they do. I really target LinkedIn for that, right? So be very specific. LinkedIn's huge, it's broad, but what's your niche? Are you targeting, if you do wedding destination planning, are you targeting event planners that do weddings? I would say make that your exclusive audience in LinkedIn. Go into there and find out what do they need. Once again, how can you be of service, right, for those event planners? And there's so much more. Just broaden your brain into what can I do? Who can I help, right? So that's a little bit about that. And then I wanted to really talk about filling your funnel with groups. We have great leaders that help us with mindset, right? And I would ask you to think about this in a different way. We have wholesale opportunities, right? Where we have wholesale opportunities. Am I still on camera? Okay, sorry. We have wholesale opportunities where we can share Evo Plus, and we have, okay, thank you, Ben. And then we also have the opportunity to sell groups and be with our suppliers and stuff like that. Okay, so when I talk about fill the funnel, I mean, our funnel is our year, right? So we have our groups might not travel until 2025, 2026. They might not travel this year at all, right? So the goal is to fill your year, your future with groups. Now, if you need money now, that's when you use your wholesale. And that's your Evo Plus, your Evo rewards to get to the instant commission and your individual trip travel. I have to let you know, especially those that are just starting, that groups are not going to pay right away. And that's okay. Fill your funnel, fill your future with groups, because when they do pay off, right, it's going to be great. All last year, like I said, I've been a year in the business. All last year, I was working with groups and community centers, but This year, I'm having a paycheck hit every month because I've all filled my funnel last year with this year's group, this year's travel. That makes sense. So I would just help you with that mindset that you might not get paid right away on groups, and sometimes you will. If there's a group that needs travel right away, I had one going to Mexico for a church event, and I did hotels and flights, right? So sometimes you will, but I do want to help you with mindset that it is a slow turn time, but that's okay because it's a big payday, right? All right. So once again, I told you in the beginning, I like to kind of help you understand through my story how I've been able to do group travels. This is a Panama trip. I started the business in December 2022, and in March 2023, I was going to Panama with the group. This is a church group that I went with, and the service that I provided was, hey, they were looking for, hey, you became a travel agent, right? Make sure you announce yourself. Hey, I'm a travel agent. I'm doing this, and so that's the way they engaged me. They said, hey, since you're doing this travel, can you help us find flights, right, for the entire group? So I went through the whole Archer group thing. It didn't actually work out because Copa Airlines wasn't aligned. And then I was able to meet with them and do the group. The service that I provided, once again, being service provided mindset, is I was able to use Travefy, create the itinerary. I also engaged with the minister to do the group flights, right? And so I charged a fee per person to do the flights. Now that was instant commission to do the flights, but I owned it, right? I was trying to learn how to do it. I was engaged in the process, and I had buy-in because I was going on the trip, right? So part of this story is that I also went to Panama and I met with people. The trip was already planned, but I learned a lot because I got in the intricate details of it. I was doing the flight, so I wanted to know a little bit about, hey, someone arranged this beach house that we're going to be staying at. Who did that, right? And they said, oh, in Panama, this lady, her name is Iris, and she did it. So this is Iris right here with me, and we're at the beach house, and I met with her, and guess what? She did this on her own because she wanted to, but now she's one of my agents. She's in Panama. She's one of my agents because she has a heart for travel, right? And I was like, well, you could have done this beach house, and got paid for it. Now I'm helping her have a vision of how she can book travel, group travel like this in the future, right? Oh. So it can expand so wide when we do groups. And so now that I've done that trip, I got, I experienced the trip. I helped with the trip. I met someone and became a future agent. There's so much that can be done with that. So let me talk to you about the marriage retreat. Okay, in 2023, was like November 2023, did a marriage retreat. I did an actual singles retreat for the church, and I just booked the room space. That was over 120 rooms that I booked, and I've done that, like I said, as an executive assistant. I did that for my company, so I was familiar with what contracts should look like. But I partnered with Archer because I want to know what should the contracts look like for Archer, right? So I really invite you to get engaged. If you're going to do a contract, make sure you engage with Archer to make sure that contracts are right so you get the commission that you deserve, right? So I engaged with Archer, was able to do a contract. Like, you see all these people in that picture, all these people, they needed hotel rooms. So not only did we have the event at the Marriott in San Diego, but we also had, they had room blocks, right? So when I did that, and that's it, that's all we did. So one of the pain points, right? When you're in the meeting, you got to get in the room. When you're in the meeting and you're in the room of the decision makers, when you're in the room, what happens is they go, "We got to do a better job next year for a marriage retreat. We do these every year. We got to do a better job about getting the word out." And I go, "Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing something differently?" And they said, "Yeah, we're open to it." So that was my cue. I didn't say much more. Another thing is I was being of service, right? So I was saying, "Hey, you know what? I will offer you a certificate for the marriage retreat as a raffle, and they, or, as a raffle for the next year's retreat." And they go, "Oh, that's a great idea." So I know some of the platinums have access to certificates. So if you need a certificate to leverage for a business negotiation, ask your platinum. If they don't have them, I believe me, they know where to get them, right? So in this case, I used one of my certificates to leverage, my contribution to the marriage retreat, right? Why do they need me, right? Because I can offer things, right? So if a company or a church or anything is going to do business with you, they have to have buy-in. What's the why for them, right? So create the why and then make it where they can't say no. So something like this was like, wait, you can give them a trip to Hawaii for hotel accommodations. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, they'll have to pay the taxes and fees, but that's minimal cost when it comes to a gift like that. And they go, "Oh, that would be great." So in that, while I was in the room, right, I negotiated. So what if we did a group cruise for next year? I know we do these, hotels every year, but what if we did a cruise? That would be great. That's amazing. I go, "Do you think it would be a good idea to announce it this year, 2023, for 2024 planning?" Because remember, the pain point that they had was that they wanted to do a better job at negotiating, at planning, right? Future marriage retreats. So you listen for what's the pain point and how do I solve it, right? So the pain point was we got to do a better job at getting these out. So create a solution, which was the cruise. And then I asked if we could do the promo at the retreat a year in advance. And they said yes. So here I am in the picture doing the promo, right? They announced it. They had a big slide on the, saying, "Guess where we're going next year?" And I wish I could have got video. It was amazing. Everyone stood up and they were cheering, "Oh, we're going to cruise next year. Oh my goodness," right? So now the work begins for me. And that I had people register. Those clipboards right there are credit card authorization forms, right? So I had a QR code where they would register their name, their birth date, and all of that. And that gave me all my information. And then their credit card authorizations were, they're signing there. And then guess what? I go home and the work begins. I'm doing phone calls. "Great. I'm so glad you're going on the marriage retreat. And now, may I get your credit card information?" And now I made a relationship with the people, the guest as well. Right. So, and in that, I do have to say, some people were like, "You know what? I'm actually going on a trip and could you help me with that?" So you could even get individual travel from these groups, right? So that's my story on the marriage retreat. And that's happening this year, November. And so wish me luck. We've got a lot of cabins booked. I was able to work with Royal Caribbean, work with your BDMs, go through your platinums, work with your BDM to, I was able to get a 100-room cabin, and, we're almost full. And the ones that I don't fill, I'm going to release them out. I'm doing a promo for Veterans Day because it is Veterans Day weekend. So I had an idea of, okay, if I can't use it for all my marriage retreat guests, I'm going to use it as a Veterans Day promo. So you can, have use the other rooms for that. So just an idea of how can you be strategic about your booking your rooms. Okay, so I want to go towards like questions before I go to engagement. All right. So do I have any questions before? All right. How do you do your voucher? Does the trip need to be assigned to someone, or did the resort offer the voucher? Okay, so in regards to vouchers, that voucher is not specified to anyone in particular. It is just a voucher. So whoever gets it and has the QR code on it and has the little logo, I took the QR code off because, you know, I just didn't want it on my slides. So I took that off, and then they can use it, and you know, they have up to 18 months. They have to redeem it within 7 days. When I print it out, they have 1 month to redeem it, and then you know, they won it on stage. They did the raffle. They won it. They had a great time. But I also modify this in Word. I modify it in my PowerPoint that has my information on it, so they'll call me. Hopefully that helps you. Do we have to attend the group function that we planned out? No, you don't have to. I think it's for me, I'm local, so I was able to engage with them. I wanted to be there. You can do virtual, you know, however it works for you. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but it sure is nice, because for me, it is about being relational and being in the room. So the QR code goes up in the right, in the right hand corner of the certificate. It's kind of that white box that's out. And other questions?
No, my question actually was, where does the QR code go? So somebody scans it, and where do they end up? Is it your web page? Is it an online form? Is it a credit card submission? Where does it go?
Okay. So are you talking about the retreat or the certificate?
No, the one that you have at the retreat here, the marriage retreat.
Okay.
How
So
did you
that
do
I
that?
created, great question. Thank you for clarifying. So
Yeah.
that QR code went directly to a Google form that I created. And I just kind of made all the necessary information. Do they want travel insurance? Do they want that? I had the pricings. I have cabins blocked. I have ocean view. I have interior rooms. I had the pricing. They picked which ones they wanted. I had, you know, total cost with gratuities and everything included. And so, yeah, I just
Oh,
had to
wow.
go to a Google form.
That's impressive. Is
Oh
that is that code still there? Is it still available to look at, just so I can see what the form looks like?
yeah, yeah. If you put your information in the chat, I can reach out to you.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you block rooms ahead of time for a group cruise, and do you have to put money down? So working with your BDM is, or calling the groups department. Those are necessary to book a group, especially if you're starting for the first time. Please call the groups department, and that way you make sure you do it right. So I would encourage you to do that. If you have a large group like I did, your BDM, but then go through your platinum so that you can make sure it's all lined up right? You want as much help as possible when you're doing a very large group, because the more help you get, the better it will be, right? And you're going to look very professional as you have professionals partner with you.
So when you say call for the groups, do you actually call like the cruise line and talk to
Yes.
them, the group booking?
Yes.
So you would
Yes.
do that first, or would you reach out to the BDM?
So if you're doing more than 16 cabins, I would say reach out to your platinum, and then from your platinum, reach out to your BDM,
Okay.
right? If
But
you
that-
are doing a group of 16 cabins, then call the cruise line themselves and they will definitely help you with the group.
Okay, so do you will they require you to like put a special deposit and stuff down though to and like how much time do you have to get your group together and stuff usually?
Yeah, so for your group, you will, some cruise lines do, require a deposit and some don't. So for instance, Holland America, you can do up to 15 cabins, no deposit. I'm
Wow.
leveraging that. That's amazing, right?
That's
Like,
amazing. So that's
it's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that because I just went on a cruise with them, right? So I'm really using that. I'm using that for a group that I'm working on now for March 2025, right? So, but then on this marriage retreat cruise, I'm telling you, it's a huge payoff for me. So yeah, I use my credit card. But what's awesome about this, right, is that I held the rooms with my credit card on a 0 interest credit card, right? Try to be really strategic and smart about your finance, right? 0 interest credit card, use that credit card and it's refundable. So this is amazing. Every time you book a cabin, Royal Caribbean's giving you that deposit money back. And if you release the cabins before the final payment date, you get all the money back too. So I have a choice. I can either fill the rooms and get my money back or release the rooms and get my money back. No matter what, I'm getting my money back.
Okay.
Is that hopeful?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay, great. All right. I love these questions. So QR code, we went through the groups. Want to ask about using Evo Plus for groups. Can we contract? You know, I've never used Evo Plus for groups. I don't think you can, because every person in that group would have to pay up front. Remember, Evo Plus is a wholesale. So you have to, you have to send them your, you have to send the whole deposit. Like, it's not a deposit thing. You have to pay the whole thing. Sorry, I got mixed up with that.
I know some of the Evo Plus has 50% up front and then 50% at a later date closer to.
Okay.
So that's why I was asking that.
Okay. Well, I guess you could.
But how do you know how many rooms are available?
Exactly, you don't.
Yeah,
Because they're wholesale. I wouldn't do my business that way. I want to be sure. I don't want the pricing to go up on my client. So that's why I use hotel block contracts, because I have my, I have my pricing locked in.
Right.
So if a person registers this weekend or 4 weekends from now or 2 months from
It's
now,
all the same.
it's all the same pricing.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, that's a great question. I never thought to do that. Okay. So all of you guys have seen the form. So everybody's here. Yeah. So, okay. A lot of people want to see the form. Definitely can do that. Actually, if we have time, I will, I can show it to you guys on my screen. So I wanted to make sure, any other questions? Because now that was the where.
One more quick question.
Yeah, sure, Julie.
So like when you do your marriage retreat, like are you hiring like a or having a speaker or somebody come in then to do stuff? And like, is that where like your promo voucher would come in?
So the marriage retreat, remember my client is the church, right? So
Oh.
these individual people are not my clients. My client is the church. So the staff at the church is saying, hey, Angela, can you do the travel portion of this marriage retreat?
Oh,
So
okay. So you weren't having to do all the organizing of like having a
no,
speaker and
nope,
oh,
nope.
but I
I'm
guess you
helping.
you could though, right? I mean, like you could,
Absolutely.
like advertise for like a singles cruise or a marriage retreat cruise, and then just have like a speaker or somebody to kind of help with some of the extra stuff on it.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, no problem. Why not?
Okay.
But that's a lot of work.
Yeah, right.
So,
I
all
have a
right.
question. Can I
Yeah.
ask you what cruise line did you say you can block rooms without a deposit?
Holland America.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. What else do we got here? All right, let's move on. So we're going to talk about engagement, how we talked about where we can find these people. And now I really want to hone in on how do we engage with them. Now that you found someone that potentially, I'm going to, we have amazing leaders. I keep saying this, and they help us keep drilling in. Mindset is important. So I put up a couple of quotes that really we're going to start here before I move on, because this is so important that we need to understand how to engage with the client. And the client, it's like, it says great salespeople are relationship builders who provide value and help their customers win. Be customer focused. Make sure you're relational. Make sure you're trying to be a problem solver. Make sure that you come to help their pain points. If you come off as I want to get money, I need to book you for a girl, I need to make commission, they feel it. It comes off spammy, it comes off disingenuous. And so you want to make sure that you don't want to close the sale, but you want to open up a relationship, because these are going to be long-term clients. And if you think like that, then the engagement is going to be great. So with that mindset, we're going to go into, I showed you those logos. What if you had that mindset when you were in Facebook? What if you had that mindset when you were in Alignable? And I'll show you some more about that. Or Nextdoor app. Like this is your community. So this is something that I definitely want to hone in on. So let me help you just know, like, once again, I'm doing my story, engagement in networking groups. I use Alignable. It has been amazing for me. So this is just to show you some engagement. I'm on a women's solopreneur networking site. So let me just back up. Alignable is kind of like LinkedIn and Meetup got married, right? So if you have a lot, LinkedIn is very saturated. It's huge, it's big. A lot of people know about it. Alignable is kind of like up and coming and great. I'm good. Yeah. Vanessa, you're on Alignable. Good. Yes. Lots of connections, right? So how do you leverage those? Like, people, as you engage, you get highly recommended. And that tag in that badge that they give you in Alignable, people are like, oh, well, she's on here and she's helpful, right? Be very vulnerable and don't, without being a victim, right? So in this solopreneur networking group, it's 86K, right? Like, that's a lot of people that are networking. And I just asked a question. I'm trying to do one courageous thing a day. Please share some courageous moves you've made that help you develop personally and professionally. I've got 90 comments on this, but I was able to talk to some people. I was able to see mindsets, right, in this chat, and who would I want to align with, right? As people are interviewing you, you're interviewing them back, right? And so ask for insights, engage. This is no different than Facebook. We're using all of these platforms to engage with people. And once again, it's not to gain sales, it's to gain relationships. So definitely be relational. So just to dive in a little more, invite them to engage with you. So I reached out to a woman named Linda, about her content, said it's very inspirational. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about her and the people that she serves, right? So I sent her my Calendly information. And guess what? She said, thank you for reaching out. I booked some time on your schedule. Amazing, right? Now, what am I doing? I'm going to one-on-one engage with her, right? I am going to have a Zoom call with her, this virtual face-to-face connection, right? And I was able to gain we're still chatting. She invited me to her, she had a virtual meeting on mindset, which was powerful and amazing. So I learned some things, but I also was able to meet a yoga instructor who does a lot of mindfulness, which I'm asking for a warm introduction to that yoga teacher, because we're going to do a yoga retreat, right? So how can these people that you align with not only help you have more engagements, right? So I really stress the fact that try to do one-on-one via Zoom. Get those connections where you're talking to that person. Show them who you are, your personality, you're trustworthy. All of that can be translated over Zoom, right? So we're talking to one another. Look at all of our trainers. There's some people that you've never met, right? Crystal or Sarah, maybe you've never met them, but you trust them and you've seen them only on Zoom, right? So getting that Zoom introduction and having that time together, you might not align in business, but you know what? Your brand, who you are as a travel agent, came across to them, and you have stamped that under their mind. And now whenever they think of travel, even if it's in their family or someone in their business, network that needs travel, they'll think of you. So it's all one big, amazing web. Okay, Nextdoor. I wanted to help with this. You guys are probably on there. So you guys are probably on Nextdoor. So, but I use it because I went to Nina Bird's training on networking and how she does things with Facebook. And guess what? I figured out you could do the same thing on Nextdoor. And these are people in my community. So I thought, why don't I leverage that? So this is a post that I put up. It's about saying dream, alignable. Network. Nextdoor, is that what you're asking? Is it private? Nextdoor is everyone can have this app.
No, I was asking about that QR code to see the document, and it seems you have to have a Gmail account to get in. So how can people go with your QR code without being a Gmail person?
I haven't encountered that issue. Everybody was able to get on.
Oh, everyone has a Gmail account? I don't.
No, every one of my clients that tried to get on had a Gmail account.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's a great question though. I need to figure out how to overcome that hurdle. But yeah, I created in Google Forms, and most people didn't want to bother with the form and called me. So those people I entered in, especially like that. I had a couple of elderly couples reach out to me, and they're like, can you just help me with it? So I helped them. So hopefully that can, that's a great, Roxanne, that's an amazing point that you can use a Jot form. And that, we use that. I use that for my website. So you can use Jot form.
Is there a way for me to see the form? I wanted to see it because, it sounded really clever and really good with you know, you had pricing for all the cruises there.
Yes. So JP, at the when I finish these few slides, I will show you that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, so I got from this picture that I posted, I was able to get 156 engagements. So the next step is that, you know, you get reactions like this green circle, you know, similar to the invite button on Facebook. And you press that, and then it turns into, you know, either something like this, where they're waiting to accept your invitation, or it turns into a message box, and then you can engage in chat. So that's the step 3. And then you engage in the chats, and then you're able to have, you know, once again, be relational, talk to them, ask them, do you know a wedding planner in our area? What if you did that? What if you said, do you know a wedding planner in our area? And they would say, yeah, actually I do, or no, I don't. Then engage with that wedding planner. Now you're being neighborly, right? That's the whole purpose of Nextdoor, is to be neighborly. So as you're being neighborly, you're creating relationships. All right. Any questions on that? All right. Yes, make a friend. One thing that I want to talk about in client engagement, know the difference between your client and their guest. So when I talk about the yoga studio or the church during the marriage retreat, yes, you will be engaging with their guest, but make sure that you have a healthy line and work between the two. Because you want to have your client's interest at heart. So sometimes my clients inflate the cost of the trip because they want to get paid from it. Not the church didn't, but the yoga studio, right? So they inflate the cost, and if you're working with the guest, you don't want to tell them, well, this cruise really only cost $1,500, right? Like, make sure you are in alignment with your client, and your client is the business owner. So I definitely want to stress that, because you want to have continued group engagement, and it's not worth losing that for one individual. And I think sometimes we can get the lines blurred. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was a definite point to hold on to. So when we think about where do we find the groups, right? We can find them on social media, within our backyard. Get out in the community, not only virtually, but in person. Networking meetup groups are great, because you're talking about, what can I do for you, right? That's one of the questions I always ask, is how can I help you? How can I help you in your business, right? People love that. And then good networking partners say it back to you. How can I help you? And then something that I saw today was Sarah post about your elevator speech, right? Have that ready, have that elevator pitch ready to go. Well, a way that you can help me is, you know, I do business retreats. And if you know anyone needing a business travel, let me know. One thing I love to do is make memories, right? And I can help clients leverage their brand with travel. And that's what I'm always saying. I'm always saying, help them leverage their brand with travel. Imagine, people remember how they feel, right? And so if you can take your clients, your yoga studio clients, away on a retreat on top of a mountain with the cool air breeze, they're going to remember their brand. ABC Yoga Studios is amazing because they took me on this retreat, right? So it leveraged it. We'll talk about that when we talk about branded groups. But hopefully that helps you guys now. Questions and answer. I'm going to stop sharing, because I know one of the big things is you want to see my form. So let me show you that, since that's the form. Okay. Share my screen again. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. So this is it. I have people that have at the retreat. I got a lot of engagement on actual forms. I got people to go on this form. I got them over the phone. So, and then I have a spreadsheet with everything in it. So anyway, this is the cruise. Must be paid in full by the 9th. This is the information, credit card authorization information. I need their full name, their birthday. I need their spouse's name. It's a marriage retreat, so I'm hoping they have a spouse full name and birth date, the email address, their phone number. Do they both have passports? Will they have them before the retreat? I did credit card. They can upload the file, upload their credit card if they wanted to. If they have loyalty numbers, they're going on Royal Caribbean. So if they have loyalty numbers, and then here is where I put in the interior room, ocean view room, the balcony, and balcony midship, because there are different categories and people wanted different things. So I broke down how much the deposit was, and I broke down how much it would be per month. And I change this every month because people join different times, right? So this month, this amount would change.
What is the monthly fee or the monthly payment? Is that the credit card payment or what is that?
Yeah, so if the cruise cost $1,000 or $1,200, right? And they wanted to break it up into payments, then I let them know how much that would be. And what I do is I send a reminder out and say, if they choose to do monthly payments, right? So right here is deposit, paid in full, pay in full. And then are they interested in monthly payment arrangements? If they pick yes, then I know that I'm going to have to reach out to them every month and say, hey, your payment of $258 is due. And usually I give them a week notice. Hey, is it okay if I run your credit card for the $258 for this month's payment? And then they usually say yes. And then that's my documentation. And I also have the credit card authorization form to run their credit card. But I like to give reminders because some people get busy and don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So then also, would you like travel insurance added? So this is my double protection. No, they want to waive it, or yes, they want it. And then, are you interested in monthly payment? And then here, if they don't have the credit card authorization form, it's here. They can download and complete it. And then also, this is my form. And then if they need any special accommodations.
I have a quick question, Angela. This is Lei.
Yeah, Haley.
Hi. So I know you mentioned you have Travefy. I have a group. I'm working on a group right now. I use Travefy in terms of like their itinerary. I put in all the information for pricing in there. I've just started recently doing like a landing page. Is there a reason why you prefer the Google Forms over utilizing Travefy? Is it more like efficient in terms of like gathering data or?
So I felt like I needed more information. And so I use that. Like the landing page, to be honest, when I first did this, I don't know if I was very familiar on how to use Travefy. So I was like, oh, I'll just do a Google form. And now it's there. And now, as you see, I only have 28 on here, but most of my people are on a totally different platform. But this is what I used it initially.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you.
a great idea. If you can have it on one platform where you can get all of this information in, And to, I think it's JP's point is that, like, what if they don't have Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? What are you guys thinking? Do you guys have any groups out there?
Hey, this is Roxanne.
Hi, Roxanne.
Hi. Sorry, I joined a little late because I had to go take my son to work, drop him
Okay.
off. I missed just a little bit in the very beginning about where you find groups. I'm guessing on Facebook and things like that. But my bigger question is when you're doing like a group cruise, are you found the group of people already, right? You're not just doing a group cruise and hoping to fill that group, right?
Right. So with group cruises, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a facilitator, or I am trying to partner with someone who has a group in mind. I'm not forming the group, right?
Okay.
When I do groups, I have a yoga studio who already has a brand, who already is deciding I want to do a retreat. I will get the clients. You don't, Angela, you don't have to. I just want you to
Gotcha.
manage it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Sure. What else we got? Mona, you talked about sharing your contact details. What do you, contact or contract? I'm not sure. I'm sorry if you could help me understand my contact details. Oh, my email. Okay. You want my information. I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. And how do you set up your own form for these trips? And could you please use your as a blueprint? Okay. So my email is, you can reach me at travelagilityinfo@gmail.com. I put it in the chat. And then when it comes to the question about use our form for trips, I would say customize your own, because this form, I'm not even using this form for every trip, right? And then, to Lee's point, you might want to use it in Travefy. So if you need help customizing a form, then just ask yourself, what information do you need, right? A good rule of thumb is to go, what does Royal Caribbean need, right? Royal Caribbean is going to need to know, okay, which room do you want? Royal Caribbean needs to know, do you have a loyalty number? So that's kind of how you make your form. What does your supplier need? So I would go that route. All right. What else we got? Does anyone have any groups in mind? I'd love to hear. We've got 5 minutes. Any groups
Well,
in mind?
I've got my first like group thing, my group leaders, I guess you could call them, just paid their deposit. It's for a destination wedding.
Okay.
So the wedding couple just paid their deposit today. So this is my first experience with this. So your timing to do this training couldn't come at a better time.
Nice. I'm so glad.
So yeah, so it's a small group. It's not a huge group. It's 10 rooms at a resort. I'm booking it through Vacation Express.
Okay.
And I talked with my contact person there today, and they do not have like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but the flights. So I have the contracted rooms with the pricing for the 10 rooms that they have. We have a total of
Okay.
22 people. And the only thing that we're missing the piece is they don't have contracted flights. And I can't remember the reason why. I think because of the group size or something.
Hmm.
I've never done this before, so I don't know. Like, do you have any tips on maybe he said, oh, I know now. Because there's not enough people, they need at least 10 passengers flying out of the same exit airport where they're leaving from.
Got it. That makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense now. I had to
Mhm.
talk that through. Oh my gosh, I was having such a brain block.
No, that's good. You're talking it through. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
If you have
welcome.
any suggestions, though, I'm open to learning.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming, Roxanne. I hope you guys all come back next week when I talk about managing group cruises. Great.
Yes, I'll be there definitely because I have a widows group that had talked about doing a group cruise to Alaska. So I need to
Nice.
follow back up with her on that. So I'm soaking up all this learning.
Yes. Awesome. That's amazing. I've been posting for golf outings and sending out messages to businesses. And that's great, Brenda. Yeah, golf is, oh my gosh, you'll do amazing with that. I'm sorry, your email. Sorry, your email. Can you put in again? Yeah.
I'm sorry, Angela, it didn't come through, or at least on my end, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
Put it in there again for me real quick.
Sure. Helpful. I probably had it on a direct message. Sorry. All right. And then you're welcome, guys. And do you have any promotional templates? Julia, that's a great question. I don't. I make them as I need them. So like I made one for the marriage retreat cruise. I'm using, I do a lot of like online, and I don't know if you noticed, but my client does all the marketing for me. So I don't do the promotional stuff. It's more about me reaching out and finding that relationship and that client that's going to bring in the business. So I work my business that way instead of me trying to get the group and doing the promo and the marketing. So hopefully that helps you. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys. I think we are, if there's no other questions, but I'm good to chat with y'all for another 3 minutes if you need it. I'll stop the recording now.